I never thought I'd wake up to the sound of a BMW horn blaring at 6:47 a.m. every single morning. But that's exactly what happened the day Patricia moved into the corner lot. Not just any Patricia, the HOA President Patricia, the one who carried a laminated copy of the bylaws in her designer bag like it was the Bible, and she was Moses about to part my driveway. Day one, I opened the garage to leave for work, and there it was, her sparkling white 2024 BMW X5, parked sideways, perfectly angled so both my cars were trapped. She was standing on her lawn in yoga pants and a visor, sipping a kale shake, smiling like she just invented sunlight. I rolled down my window and asked, super polite, "Hey, any chance you could move a few feet forward? I can't get out." She didn't even look up, just raised one finger, not the bad one, but it felt like it, and said Section 704, no parking within 15 feet of a driveway. "You're welcome." Then she walked inside. Have you ever had a neighbor who used the rules just to make your life miserable? What would you do if the HOA President blocked you in every single morning? Let me know in the comments below. And if you love seeing entitled bullies get exactly what's coming to them, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't believe what we found in the legal paperwork at the end of this war. I sat there stunned. She was blocking my driveway and claiming I was the problem. I checked the bylaws later that night. Guess what? Section 7.4 only applies to the street side of the curb. My garage is private property. She knew. She 100% knew. The next morning, same thing. Sideways BMW, horn at 6:47 on the dot, kale shake, fake smile. Except this time, she had backup. 2 other HOA board members, pretending to power walk while filming, me on their phones for documentation. I had to call out sick just to wait for a tow truck that never came because, technically, she wasn't on my property, just close enough that I couldn't leave. By day 5, the entire neighborhood knew. People were slowing down to watch the daily showdown like it was reality. TV kids filmed TikTok duets. Someone started a betting pool on how long I'd last before snapping. I started parking my daily driver 2 streets over and Ubering home just to avoid the humiliation. My wife stopped inviting friends over because Patricia would stand in the street screaming about curb appeal violations. The second anyone pulled in, then came the notes. Bright pink Post-its on my windshield every night. Consider being a better neighbor. Your trash bins were visible for 7 minutes past 8 a.m. Smile, it's a beautiful day to follow rules. Once she left a printed photo of my own garage, with a red circle around a tiny oil spot and the words, "Environmental hazard reported." I tried everything, talking nicely, talking firmly, emailing the HOA board, who were all her brunch friends, filing an official complaint that mysteriously disappeared from the portal. Nothing worked. She had the power, the time, and a brand new BMW she clearly loved more than oxygen. So, one random Tuesday, after she blocked me in for the 23rd day in a row and laughed while I begged her to move, I made a quiet decision. I called a concrete guy I know from high school, told him I needed 4 steel bollards, installed, the kind they use in bank parking lots, the unbreakable ones, and I wanted them painted HOA approved, sandstone beige, so she couldn't even complain about the color. He asked, "You sure, bro? This feels nuclear." I told him, "Just do it before I end up on the news." 2 days later, the posts went in, 6 feet apart, exactly at the edge of my driveway property line, lined up like soldiers. I even added reflective strips so nobody could claim they didn't see them. Took photos, sent them to the city for permits, all approved because, again, private property. The very next morning, 6:47 a.m., right on schedule, I heard it. Not the gentle beep-beep she usually did to wake the street. A full-on, horn-held-down, screeching panic. I walked outside in my robe holding coffee like it was the Super Bowl. There was Patricia, screaming red-faced, standing next to her BMW. which was now wrapped around my center. Bollard like a horseshoe. Front end crumpled. Airbags deployed. Green kale shake exploded. Across the windshield like abstract art. The car was sideways, exactly where it always was, except this time it wasn't moving ever again. She saw me, pointed a shaking finger, and shrieked, "You did this on purpose!" I just sipped my coffee and said, "Section 7.4, Patricia. No parking within 15 feet of a driveway." "You're welcome." The neighbors came out clapping. Someone started filming. And that was only the beginning, because what Patricia did next, that was when things got really insane. The tow truck driver took one look at Patricia's crumpled BMW hugging my steel post like a desperate ex, and actually laughed out loud. "Lady, this is the best call I've had all year." Patricia was on the phone with 911, screaming that I'd installed booby traps and attempted murder with landscaping. The officer who showed up knew me from coaching Little League. He took my permit folder, glanced at the posts, measured the distance with his boot, and told her, "Ma'am, this is private property. You hit a fixed object, that's an at-fault accident. Have a nice day." Patricia lost it. Full nuclear. She called an HOA emergency meeting that same night. Yes, they have those. And demanded my immediate removal from the neighborhood. She passed around glossy photos of her ruined BMW with captions like, "Terrorism in broad daylight." Half the room was eating the cookies she brought. The other half was sneaking glances at me like I was about to pull a grenade. I showed up anyway. Walked in with a folder thicker than her bylaws book. First light on the projector. Time-stamped ring footage of the last 28 days. Every single morning, her car blocked my garage. Her waving, her smirking, her refusing to move. Second slide, the city permit, stamped and approved. Third slide, a close-up of the reflective strips and the little sign that says, "No parking, fixed obstructions." The room went dead silent. Patricia stood up, veins popping. "Those posts are ugly. They destroy curb appeal. I'm fining him $25,000 for unauthorized modifications." I smiled. Hit the next slide. An email from the city planning department, dated 3 weeks earlier, where Patricia herself tried to block my permit and was told in writing, "Homeowner has full rights on private property. Request denied." You could hear her soul leave her body, but she still wouldn't quit. The next 48 hours were pure chaos. She filed liens on my house, fake ones printed on her home printer. She had her husband, some quiet guy who clearly wanted to be literally anywhere else, stand in my driveway with a measuring tape claiming the posts were 6 inches onto the easement. They weren't. She started a neighborhood Facebook group called Stop the Bollard Bully and posted AI-generated photos of my house with graffiti on the garage. Classy. Then came the 4 a.m. wake-up calls, anonymous numbers screaming that my kids would pay the price. Someone egged my front door every night for a week. My wife found nails scattered behind our tires twice. I installed more cameras. Caught Patricia on 4K at 2:13 a.m. in a black hoodie sprinkling nails like fairy dust. Sent that straight to the police. They paid her a visit. She cried victim so hard the officer almost felt bad. Almost. Insurance declared her BMW totaled. She fought them. Claimed the posts moved on their own. They sent an engineer. He laughed harder than the tow guy. By now the story had gone viral locally. News vans parked outside. Someone made t-shirts. Free the driveway. My Ring doorbell clips hit 1 million views on TikTok. Patricia started wearing huge sunglasses and a headscarf like she was in witness protection. She scheduled a special assessment vote to fine every single homeowner. $500 to pay for her new car because of community safety. Only 12 people showed up, and 8 of them were there to flip her off. That's when she crossed the line from evil to completely unhinged. One night I woke up to my wife screaming. I ran outside barefoot. Patricia was on my lawn with a cordless Sawzall trying to cut my steel posts down. Sparks everywhere. Extension cord running from her own outdoor outlet across the street like a tripwire. She was in bunny slippers and a silk robe, hair in curlers, shrieking, "I paid for this street!" The blade snapped, flew, and sliced her own forearm open, blood everywhere. She looked at me, wild-eyed, and whispered, "This isn't over." Cops came again. EMS patched her up on my driveway while she told them I'd attacked her with a samurai sword. They checked the cameras, saw everything. She left in cuffs for vandalism, trespassing, and destruction of property. I thought that was the end. I was so wrong. Because the next morning a process server showed up with papers. Patricia was suing me for $250,000 for emotional distress, loss of enjoyment of life, and permanent disfigurement from the Sawzall incident. And that's when I found out why she'd been targeting me from day one. A secret she'd buried so deep it took her own lawyer accidentally attaching the wrong document to blow it wide open. But that revelation, that's the part that broke the internet and broke Patricia forever. The lawsuit papers sat on my kitchen island like a loaded gun. $250,000. Permanent disfigurement. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Patricia even attached glossy close-ups of the 3-inch scar on her forearm, circled in red, like a crime scene photo. My lawyer laughed so hard he had to put his coffee down. She cut herself with her own. Sawzall at 3:17 a.m. while trespassing. This is performance art, Discovery started. That's when the universe decided to hand me the winning lottery ticket on a silver platter. Patricia's lawyer, some guy who clearly took the case for the TikTok clout, accidentally attached the wrong PDF to an email. One click and there it was. The original purchase contract for her corner lot, dated 6 years earlier. Page 27, Exhibit C. Buried in the fine print was an old, recorded easement giving my address permanent, unrestricted vehicular access across the corner of her lot to reach the alley behind my garage. An easement that had been there since 1978, long before either of us existed. Translation: Patricia never owned the strip of land she'd been parking on. She'd been blocking me on my legal right-of-way the entire time. I zoomed in, heart pounding. The easement was 20 feet wide. Her driveway sat smack in the middle of it. She'd literally paved over my property rights. When she moved in and then weaponized fake HOA rules to keep me from using what was mine. But it got better. Page 43. A handwritten note from the previous owner stapled to the contract. Buyer aware easement is active. Seller disclosed verbally. Buyer laughed and said HOA will fix that. She knew. She bought the house knowing she didn't fully own the land under her own driveway and spent 6 years terrorizing me to protect her lie. My lawyer printed everything in color, tabbed it, and walked into mediation like a man carrying dynamite. Patricia sat across the table in a cream blazer, neck scarf tied like she was auditioning for Real Housewives. She smirked when she saw me. "Ready to settle, terrorist?" My lawyer slid the easement survey across the table. Then the contract. Then the handwritten note. Then the city record showing the easement had never been vacated. Patricia's face went from Botox frozen to actual human horror in 2.4 seconds. Her lawyer started sweating bullets. We can discuss a quiet resolution." Patricia snatched the papers, eyes darting. "This is forged?" My lawyer hit play on his laptop. Drone footage I'd paid a surveyor to shoot 2 days earlier. Bright orange paint marking the legal boundaries. Her BMW, her driveway, her beloved rose garden, all sitting on my easement. The same drone footage already uploaded to YouTube with the title, HOA President Built Her Entire Life on Stolen Land. Views were at 4.2 million and climbing. Patricia stood up so fast her chair fell backward. "You can't do this." I finally spoke. "Watch me." We left mediation without a single penny changing hands. Instead, Patricia signed a full release of all claims, quit the HOA board effective immediately, and agreed to remove her driveway at her own expense within 60 days or face daily fines from the city. She moved 3 weeks later. Not just moved, vanished. The for sale sign went up overnight. Price slashed twice in 4 days. Rumor is she took a $180K loss just to escape. Her husband filed for divorce the same week, took the dog, and moved in with his brother. Someone saw Patricia at a Walmart in a different county, buying boxed wine at 10 a.m. in sweatpants. No visor, no kale shake, no laminated bylaws. I paved that easement into the most beautiful extended driveway you've ever seen. Added a basketball hoop for the kids. Neighbors use it daily now. We throw block parties on it. Someone installed a plaque that just says, "Freedom begins here." Last thing I heard, Patricia tried to start over in a new subdivision 2 hours away. Showed up to the first HOA meeting ready to rule. They already knew who she was. The video of her Saw Meltdown has 39 million views now. Someone made it into an NFT. Someone else turned it into a ringtone. She lasted 6 days before the new neighborhood voted to ban her from all common areas for the mental health of the community. Karma doesn't always need steel posts. Sometimes it just needs the truth, a good drone, and one glorious accidental email. And every morning at 6:47 a.m., when my garage door opens smooth and free, I still smile, raise my coffee to the sky, and whisper the same 6 words. Section 7.4. Patricia, you're welcome. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Every single subscription motivates me to bring you even more exciting and dramatic HOA stories, and don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. I'll see you in the next story where justice gets even more satisfying.